MC110, creating and retiming effects. This is creating slow motion, fast motion, freeze frames, things like that. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Everybody knows that you can load up a clip here. You can actually mark in and out. Okay, click on the motion effect editor right here. It brings up a little dialog box, and you can actually adjust this however you would like. So if the frame rate is 24 frames per second, you can see we are making this almost twice as fast. So say if we wanted to make it 200%, okay, we're going to double the speed. It gives you an option to actually make it strobed if you'd like to strobe it, and you can adjust the frames that it's strobed. And then it gives you the target drive where you want your, because it's actually creating some Avid media files. So you want to make sure that when you create any type of effects like this, or you render anything, that make sure it's going to the proper work state of the work drive. So for example, I'm working off my Avid work, okay? You guys would be working off the TV Mac. So whenever you are doing anything and rendering, creating effects, anything like that, make sure it's going to the proper drive. That is why if you ever change computers, you'll notice that some of your things might be in red or offline, media offline. That's because it's trying to read it from a different computer. So you always want to make sure that effects, any type of motion effects, graphics, rendering is all done on the same drive. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create and render. So if you notice over here, I want to make from this mark in to this mark out slow. So I'm going to hit create and render. It's going to ask me what bin I want to put it in. Takes a few seconds. Look over here in your bin, you'll see it up here. It's got a little motion effect. It actually creates a new clip. It also loads it up automatically. When I play it, it should be twice the speed. So that is one way to do a motion effect. Another thing that you can do is you can actually make a still frame. Okay, so say I want to make like an opening graphic on for like a workout video, and I want this like right here to be my still frame. I can actually go up to clip, or actually it's under composer. They move things on me. You can go to composer, go to freeze frame. It's going to make a freeze exactly where the mark in is right here. So go to composer, freeze frame, and select how long you would like your still clip to be. Okay, if you want it longer than a minute, you can actually make it longer if you need to. So I'm only going to make it about 5 seconds. Again, pick the drive, hit OK, hit your bin that you want it to go into. It creates a separate clip and loads it up for you directly into your monitor. Okay, if you look into your bin, you can actually see your motion effects. So this one is double the speed. Okay, so it's 47, almost 48 frames per second. This one up here is your still frame, it says FF for freeze frame. So two ways to make a still frame and to conduct a motion effect. Another thing that you can do, it's a cool little tool. It's called Fit to Fill. You can actually find it if you go up to Tools and your command palette. Under the Edit tab, you can see the Fit to Fill. It looks like a double arrow, all right? And I have already put it into my work interface, which is right here. If you don't have it, find an empty location on this bar right here and put Fit to Fill right in there. So what does Fit to Fill do? I'm just going to call up a clip. What does Fit to Fill do? It allows you to insert a motion effect the same exact time as your clip. All right, so what does that all mean? So let me go over to here. Pick a clip right here. So the step on roof. Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to replace this with a motion effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mark clip, sets an in and out point at the beginning and at the end of the clip. On this side, set your mark in and mark out for the duration you want this clip to be. Okay, so say I want the clip to be right here. Now sometimes you would get that error that says insufficient media. If you use fit to fill, which is right here, it's going to take this and consolidate it down so it's going to fit into this space. Okay, so I'm going to hit fit to fill. It's going to ask me, because it's actually going to create a clip for you, going to ask me which bin to put it in. Going to create it, then it automatically inserts it into the timeline for you, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you can actually use fit to fill any type of clip with a motion effect. Another thing that you can do is if you go to your effect palette and you come into your time warp effect right down here, there's all different types of things that you can use. We're going to focus on two of them, the trim to fill and then the time warp. Okay, so I'm going to just undo what I just did right there. And I'm going to put a trim to fill on the step on roof. Okay, so what does this allow you to do? Once you put a trim to fill in there and you go into your trim mode, you can actually extend or shrink the step on roof. So as I shrink it down like this, it's either going to speed it up or slow it down. So you can see how it sped it up, because what I did was I kind of consolidated the video. Okay, I made it shorter. If I make it longer, should slow it down. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer so you can see how it's now slower. Okay, so it's a really cool and simple way to make some fast or slow motion video. The trim to fill right into your trim mode. Okay, so another great tool that you can use. I'm going to get rid of that. Finally, we're going to go into the time warp. I will not sing the time warp song, but it is one of my favorites. Oh, I deleted it. So I'm going to put the time warp on. Okay, I'm going to go into my effect editor, and it's going to pop up with all of these boxes and graphs and little things that you can do to make the video slower or faster. This gives you a little bit more control over your the speed of your video. So if you think about, I'm just going to use Survivor as an example. You know, when things speed up and then slow down, or they slow down, it's a shot of them maybe on the beach, and then it zooms out real fast and it comes up, and then you see the entire island or wherever they're camping. That is all done with a time warp effect. Okay, and you can actually do that as well. I'm going to get rid of this effect right here. I'm going to promote my, oh, I deleted my effect. Oh, bad me. So let's put this back on. Okay, we'll use this right here with the, I go into my effect editor. Okay, click on these two graphs to make them open. In order to do any type of motion effect, okay, you have to give yourself an anchor point. So say I want it to start, I'm going to play it right here, and I want it normal speed. And then I'm going to put an anchor point right there, okay? And then I'm going to put a keyframe at the end, and now I can actually adjust the speed. You come under 100, it's going to slow it down. You go above 100, it's going to speed it up. Okay, so now when I play that clip, it should start regular and speed up. Okay, again, I'm just playing with it. Let's use this. Let's use this clip. Might give you a little better visual than the other clip. So here's a kid who he's jumping off the thing. I'm going to set an anchor point. Okay, you can see the little anchor down there. All right, I'm going to set, say, a keyframe here, and then I'm going to go to the end and set a keyframe. And now I can actually adjust this however I want. I can speed it up, then have it come down in real time. I can slow it down, and have it come up to real time. It all depends on what it is, what type of effect you're trying to do. Notice a dark blue dot. I have to render this. I'm going to pick my proper drive. Renders real quick. And watch the magic. Slow. Okay, so see, if you notice, I went below 0, which means I went into reverse. So if you want to keep everything moving forward, you have to make sure you're above the 0. Okay, if I go below 0, then that's you're actually going in reverse. So you can actually have something fast forward, then rewind, then fast forward again. It's all up to you and what it is that you'd like to do. All right, so let's make this speed up and then slow down. So let's watch what we have here. It's going to speed up and then slow down to real time. All right, so that's the motion effect editor. All right. So finally, there's a few different ways that you can actually go in and out of your keyframes. Okay, by right-clicking on your keyframe, you're going to see a few different options: shelf, linear, spline, and Bezier. If you click on shelf, what it does is it gives you kind of like a shelf. Okay, so when I play this, watch the difference. So it's going to come up, he's going to speed up, and it's going to stay sped up. Okay, there is no bell curve. All right, it's going to be more of a sharp speed, a sharp increase. Okay, of the speed. If I click on spline, it's going to give me more of an ease in and ease out of my keyframes. Okay, spline is really what a lot of people will use. Okay, if I click on linear, it's more of a direct path. So linear line, a direct path to the keyframes. And finally, the Bezier. What this does is it creates a natural ease in and ease out between keyframes that can be adjusted. All right, so if you notice, the spline, you can't adjust it, but here I can actually turn this and adjust how I want it to ease in and ease out. So a lot of cool things that you can do with motion effects. Go and do the exercise, because the exercise will help to reinforce what I just went over, and will help you know where all the different buttons are and different things that you can do. That's all for this chapter. Leon out.